How many times have you felt like your life needed a total reset, but you kept waiting for the perfect moment? Do you ever feel like you're just watching your life from the sidelines, unable to change the script? So when will you stop being a spectator in your own story and finally take the lead? You've probably thought it more than once. I need to change my life. Not just tweak a few habits, but a complete transformation. Yet, you keep waiting. Waiting for the stars to align, for a sign, for the right mood, and while you wait, life keeps passing by. It's like you're watching a movie where you're the main character, but instead of acting, you're stuck in the audience, hoping something big will happen someday. But let me ask you, do you really want to keep sitting still while the end credits draw closer? In this video, I'm going to share 11 principles that transformed my life in just one day, and if you give them a real chance, they can start transforming yours, starting today. This isn't magic. This isn't clickbait. It's all based on Stoic philosophy, ancient wisdom that's surprisingly practical and deeply relevant to our modern lives. I'll walk you through simple but powerful truths that can completely change how you see the world. Not just to inspire you, but to give you real tools to transform yourself from the inside out. Sounds too good to be true? Give me a few minutes and I'll show you what's possible. Are you ready to open a new chapter, one where you finally unlock all the potential you've been holding back? In the last part, you saw how replacing complaints with action can shift your life. Now let's move on to the second principle. Live with less, gain more. Picture this. You walk through the door after a long day. You drop your keys on the table, hang up your coat, and you're instantly hit with clutter. Papers, unread emails, a never-ending to-do list. It's overwhelming, isn't it? Like every little thing around you is a handful of sand piling up in the room. At first, just a thin layer under your feet. But eventually you're knee-deep, trapped and unable to move. That sense of overload isn't just mental, it's a real barrier to your well-being. But here's the truth. Living with less doesn't mean giving up what matters. It means making space for what truly does. The Stoics knew this centuries ago. To them, constant accumulation was a distraction from what's real. Imagine if Marcus Aurelius lived today. His mornings would be filled with back-to-back meetings, documents to review, endless decisions to make, and he'd come home to a house filled with pointless stuff, thousands of unread emails and obligations that drain more than they give. He would feel overwhelmed, just like us. But as a true Stoic, what would he do? He'd focus on what matters. He'd let go of anything that doesn't serve his purpose, serenity, or peace of mind. And that's what I'm inviting you to do, starting today. Most people think living with less is about losing. In reality, it's about reclaiming your time, your energy, your clarity. I know this firsthand. Inspired by Japanese minimalist Fumio Sasaki, I decided to simplify my life. I started small, letting go of things I didn't use or need. And the result? I felt lighter, clearer, as if I had decluttered my mind as well as my home. As Sasaki says, when you have less, you value more. You might ask, value what? Time, peace, focus. Here's how to start. Begin with something physical. Look at your closet, it's packed with clothes you never wear. Don't overthink it. Start today. Throw away the broken. Donate what you don't need. Even one action will free you from a burden you didn't know was there. Then move. On to commitments. What are you saying yes to by default that isn't helping you grow? Cut one thing from your calendar today that doesn't serve you. Finally, address your thoughts. How often do you stress over things out of your control? Try this. Take 5 minutes today to meditate or breathe deeply. Let it be your anchor, your quiet moment in a noisy world. Because in the end, you are not what you accumulate. You are what you choose to keep. And every small thing you let go of is a step toward a lighter, freer, more focused life. So, are you ready to take that step? In the last section, you saw how living with less creates space for clarity and peace. But if there's one thing worth holding on to every single day, it's gratitude. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This quote doesn't ask you to ignore life's difficulties. It reminds you that even on the hardest days, there's always something to be grateful for. To the Stoics, gratitude wasn't just a feeling, it was a habit you build day by day. And believe me, it changes everything about how you see the world. You might be thinking, my life is chaotic. I barely have time to breathe, let alone make gratitude lists. I get it. But I'm not asking you to meditate for an hour. I'm asking for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes can start making a difference today. So how do you begin? In the morning, the moment you wake up, say out loud one thing you're grateful for. A warm cup of coffee, the bed you slept in, or simply the chance to start a new day. Yes, it might feel awkward at first, but it works. At night, before going to bed, take a moment to reflect. Write down 2 things you're grateful for from that day. Maybe it's the dinner you had or a short chat with your mom. Read them back to yourself and feel it. Truly feel it, because that's where transformation begins, in the little things. You might think it's too small to matter, but I promise it changes everything. From day one, your brain begins focusing on what you have instead of what you lack. Gratitude won't erase your problems, but it will give you strength and perspective to face them in a new way. Life is full of blessings we take for granted. But when you learn to notice what's already working, you stop feeling like you're always lacking, and you start to win. So here's my invitation. Think of one thing you're grateful for today. And if you can, share it in the comments. Because when gratitude becomes a habit, everything begins to shift. In the last section, we explored how to align your work with your energy. But to fully harness that power, there's one more essential shift: taking responsibility for your life. Let me tell you a story. A man was walking down a path when he fell into a deep pit. He panicked, then started yelling for help, hoping someone would come rescue him. First, he blamed the pit. Who leaves a hole in the middle of the road? Then he blamed the sun. It didn't shine bright enough. I couldn't see where I was going. Finally, he cursed his shoes. They're too worn out. That's why I slipped. Time passed. No one came. Every minute he spent waiting, he sank deeper into despair. And then he faced a hard truth. No one was coming. If he wanted to get out, he'd have to stop blaming everything else and start climbing. Sound familiar? You might not be in a literal pit, but every time you blame others for your situation, you're keeping yourself stuck. Unhappy at work? It's my boss's fault. Relationship struggles? They just don't understand me. Bit by bit, you hand control of your life to someone else. But let me tell you, that kind of story has no hero, only someone waiting. Here's the hard truth. Your life today is the result of your past decisions. Don't panic, because if you accept responsibility, you gain the power to change it. If you truly want to transform your life, you must own it as Epictetus said circumstances don't make the man, they only reveal him. Difficult situations don't define you, they show who you are through how you choose to respond. When you blame others, you stay stuck. But when you take responsibility, you are free, because when you take charge, you decide who you want to be. So how do you start? Today. 1. Stop looking for someone to blame. Next time a problem arises, don't ask, whose fault is this? Ask, what can I do to change this? Take one action that's fully yours. Unhappy with your finances? List unnecessary expenses, cut one today. Feel distant from someone? Don't wait. Be the one to reach out. Ask, what part of my life isn't aligned with my values? No need for a massive change. If you value health but haven't acted on it, take a 20-minute walk. Choose a healthier meal. Small steps. Big shifts. Here's the difference between those who move forward and those who stay stuck. The ones who move stop waiting for someone to pull them out. They climb. So now I ask you, are you going to keep making excuses, or are you ready to choose your life? You don't have to fix everything in a day, but you can start today. And that first step, no matter how small, changes everything. In the last section, you learned that waiting for someday only leads to regret. Now it's time to embrace a new principle. Take action, even when you don't feel ready. Every day you delay is one more day you lose the chance to change. And I know what you're thinking. It's not that easy. And you're right. Because the hardest part isn't knowing what to do, it's taking that first step. Why? Because the first step is always scary. That uncomfortable conversation terrifies you. That overdue workout feels impossible. That small shift you've been avoiding seems too disruptive. But here's the truth. If you wait until you're no longer afraid, you'll never begin. So how can you start making things happen today? Choose one thing you've been putting off. Everyone has something. A call you've avoided, an apology you've delayed, a small change you've been dodging. Write it down. Right now. 2. Eliminate the word someday from your vocabulary. It doesn't exist. It's not on your calendar. The next time you say, I'll do it someday, pause. Replace it with today or right now, because even the smallest step today can break the cycle of waiting, and that shift alone can change your life in a single day. I'm not exaggerating. Action has immediate power. Accept this truth. Not making a decision is still a decision, and it's a choice to stay the same. Let me ask you, do you want to keep going in circles? Or do you want to finally move forward? The difference between those who achieve and those who don't isn't in their ideas or resources. It's that some act and others wait. So what will you choose? To wait or to make it happen? The decision is yours, and it starts now. In the previous section, you learn to act despite fear. But if you want lasting change, there's something else you must master: your perspective on challenges. You can't stop problems from showing up, but you can choose how you face them. When you start treating challenges as allies, your entire worldview shifts. Obstacles stop being enemies, they become tools for growth. And that mindset, that shift, is what can transform your life. Yes, even in a single day. Cultivate daily reflection. Now, my friend, let me share something deeply personal with you, something I've never said out loud before. There was a time in my life when I couldn't stand myself. I didn't like the way I acted. I hated the way I looked. And I constantly beat myself up for the way I spoke, thought, and behaved. Everything felt wrong, but instead of asking why, I just punished myself and kept moving through life on autopilot. Until one day, I tried something different. I started reflecting. Every night, just 5 minutes, I'd write down what I did well, what didn't go right, what I could do better tomorrow. At first, it felt awkward, like talking to someone who didn't want to listen. But slowly, I began to understand myself. I noticed patterns. I realized not everything I did was wrong. Some things were worth celebrating. Reflection helped me strengthen my relationship with myself. And more importantly, it helped me make better choices. Let's be clear. Daily reflection isn't about writing a novel or staring into the ceiling. For hours, it's just a few honest minutes with yourself. No filters, no excuses. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? What went wrong? What can I do differently tomorrow? Marcus Aurelius did this every night. Not for attention or applause, but for his own clarity. That's how Meditations was born. It was like tidying up his inner house before bed. The Japanese call this practice choa, balance and harmony. Author Akemi Tanaka explains that daily reflection helps you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions, like placing puzzle pieces into place. So ask yourself, if you never pause to think, how do you expect anything to change? Start today. Open your Notes app, grab a piece of paper. Write down one thing you did well today. One thing that didn't go as planned. One step you'll take tomorrow to improve. This isn't about guilt, it's about growth. Because every night you reflect is a morning you rise with clarity. Why can this change your life in a single day? Because reflection is where you make peace with yourself, where you realign, where you whisper to yourself, "We'll do better tomorrow." And when you understand yourself, you make better choices, and when you make better choices, your life begins to change. After you've learned to reflect daily and understand yourself better, there's one thing that can accelerate your growth like nothing else: having someone guide you. Find a mentor. Have you ever felt like you're walking through fog? You're moving forward but unsure if you're heading in the right direction. Maybe you're trying to grow in your career, build something meaningful, or simply improve your life. But you don't know where to begin or who to turn to. Let me ask you this: why struggle alone when others have already walked the path? Let me tell you a story about Warren Buffett. Before he became one of the most successful investors of all time, he was just like many of us, ambitious but uncertain. Then he met Benjamin Graham, his mentor. Graham didn't just teach Buffett about investing, he taught him how to think. Don't let emotions drive decisions, stick to principles, and always think long term. The result? Buffett's life transformed. But here's the key: without Graham, Buffett might not be the name we know today. Even Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, had a mentor, Junius Rusticus. Rusticus taught him self-discipline, introspection, and how to resist ego. He didn't tell Marcus what he wanted to hear, he told him what he needed to hear, and that shaped the emperor we now admire. So, how do you find a mentor? You don't need to chase celebrities or book impossible meetings. Start here. Identify the area where you need help. You can't improve everything at once. Be honest. Is it your career, your health, your personal development? Look for someone who's already where you want to be. They don't have to be someone you know. They could be an author you admire, an expert you follow online, or someone in your own community. Learn from how they think, act, and handle mistakes. But most importantly, be a good learner. Ask questions. Apply what they teach. A mentor is useless if you don't listen. Don't expect them to fix your life. They're not there to carry you. They're the flashlight in the dark, showing you the path so you can walk it yourself. Sure, you can reach your goals on your own, but it will take longer with more mistakes. With a mentor, you gain speed, clarity, and confidence. A mentor doesn't walk for you, but they show you exactly where to step. Can you think of anything more life-changing than that? Once you've set a meaningful goal and taken the first step, you begin to live with intention and strength. And that mindset, living with purpose, is what truly transforms your life. So don't wait any longer. Grab a pen and paper, write down one goal that truly matters to you, and most importantly, take action. Turn that idea into a step. If you're ready, share your goal in the comments. We want to be part of this new version of you. 10. Leave your mark on others. Now take a moment to reflect. What will remain of you when you're no longer here? I'm not talking about possessions or titles. I'm talking about the impact you leave on people. Have your actions ever helped someone? Did your presence make someone's life a little better? Have you left behind kindness, wisdom, or courage? Society is like a giant tapestry, and each of us is a thread. If one thread breaks or fails to show up, the whole fabric weakens. Marcus Aurelius said, "What does not benefit the hive does not benefit the bee." But the beauty is it works both ways. When you leave a positive mark on others, you don't just help the world, you help yourself. You become stronger, wiser, and more connected to what truly matters. Why does this kind of life change you too? Because when you live with the common good in mind, that sense of emptiness fades. You feel useful, connected, at peace. Helping others doesn't just change them, it transforms you. Let me give you a real example. A young economist noticed that millions were stuck in poverty simply because no one would lend them small amounts of money. So instead of complaining, Muhammad Yunus created a new system. He gave microloans to poor women in Bangladesh. People thought he was crazy. How could they pay it back? But he believed in community strength and the will to improve. He was right. Those small loans changed millions of lives. The takeaway? Yunus didn't just change the world. He found purpose and transformed himself. Because when you live for something bigger than yourself, when you choose to leave a mark on others, you grow too. So how do you start? You don't need a Nobel Prize. Just begin, right where you are. Today, are you good at cooking? Teach someone a recipe. Are you a good listener? Give your time to a friend. Are you passionate about something? Inspire someone to begin. Share your skills. Give without expecting. Be present. The world doesn't need perfect heroes. It needs people who do what they can with what they have, where they are. Even the smallest act of kindness can be the light someone is searching for. Final words, don't wait until tomorrow. Because even the smallest sincere act doesn't just change someone else's life, it transforms yours. Let these principles guide you. Let every small action be a step toward the best version of you. Real transformation doesn't take years. It takes conscious, courageous choices made daily. That moment of change, it can start today. If you've made it this far, comment below. Today, I start transforming my life. That's how I'll know who the true Stoic warriors are, those who stayed until the end. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like this video. Check out the playlist on screen. It's full of ideas, stories, and tools to help you live with more wisdom and confidence. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care and keep embracing your inner Stoic.